Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Love Island Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. Great to speak to you again. We're on a new week, looking at a bit of Love Island, talking about a bit of Love Island. Where do you want to start tonight?
I think, Dave, if you don't mind, I know we've probably exhausted this over the last few episodes, but the triangle of Mike, Jess, and Luke M, Dave. I mean, I thought, to be fair, Luke M tonight absolutely nailed Jess and totally exposed her to the game playing that we've not really seen. And I think what he said was absolutely right. I'm not saying she can't play the game and she can't do what she's doing. She's keeping her options open. But I thought the way he handled it was on the money tonight. And Jess just came across looking daft, I thought, at the end of it.
Yeah, so did she? I think she was the villain of the piece tonight, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I guess Luke M, I haven't warmed to him really, so I got no skin in the game there, but I couldn't fault anything they did there. I mean, it all kicked off really around this Snog, Marry, Pie challenge, didn't it? And I'd have thought, if you were doing this kind of outside, off Love Island, like Marry is the best one, isn't it? And then Snog would be, second, and then obviously Pie would be the third one. But it seems in the villa, the Snog is the best one, and people get the ump, if you don't go with who you're actually coupled up with. So I must admit, when Jess went across to Mike and Snog Mike, I thought, right, this is all going to kick off now, and she had some very, very nice words for Luke M, didn't she? Sort of words you'd give to your best male friend or something like that if you were a girl. So it was like, oh no, this is going to kick off. Now, we'd said last week, I think I remember saying that, Jess hasn't really gone out of her way to push Mike away. She's been, you can see that she's thinking, okay, what are Mike's real intentions here? So she's not like rushed off with him. But I think I remember saying, I'm sure she could do a bit of a better job in closing it down. And so you're sort of seeing tonight, well, this is why that is, because, even though logically she knows that Mike is only going after her because he got dumped by Leanne, he's in Love Island, so he's got to couple up with someone. Logically, she knows that. But I think her heart is telling her something different. But I tell you what, so I think, am I excusing Jess? I don't know if I'm excusing her, but I can kind of half understand it. Where I'm not going to excuse her is she called Luke M fake. Now, I'm sorry, but what she has done, she's been sort of faking being with Luke M, really, hasn't she? And again, in the real world, you've seen her have these conversations. She's not really into Luke M. She wouldn't go for him on the outside world. So she's the fucking fake one by her own admission. Without saying the words, that is what she's saying. So I thought in that moment, that was a bit out of order to call Luke M fake, because it was just, she was being called out. She didn't like it. But ultimately, that's that. And I have to say, I tweeted out tonight, it took about 0.3 seconds for Mike to run over, literally sprint over. But what do you make, Chris, of all the cards being played at once?
Well, Dave, I think you've been very diplomatic with this whole situation with Jess, because as soon as they started talking to her and Mike, I turned to Sam and I went, he's going to put it on her straight away and she's going to reciprocate. And Sam went, is she fucked? She's just dropped him. Luke M, they've just split up. She's saying about respect, blah, blah, blah. I said, just watch. I said, and I wasn't trying to be a smart ass or anything, but within about 30 seconds, it was all over. And I thought, Jess, the whole argument about calling Luke fake, whether he is fake, we'll never know until we watch it a bit more. Fake, you're this, you're this, you're this. Everything Luke said, it was like he was talking in the mirror. Everything he said, she fired back with the same thing at him, but in a slightly different way. It's like, no, that's not how this works. He's supposed, articulate yourself. No problem. I don't think she was being daft or anything, but everything was wrong about that. And then straight away, it just validated everything Luke said, because there was no fucking hesitation. And Dave, I don't know what it is about Mike, though. As much as I love the fact that he's got some bollocks on him, you've got to give him credit. And someone like this is the sort of guy that you're crying out for Love Island. Not to be horrible to the girls or anything, but just to have no fucks given, right? But everyone's like, well, Big Mike swooping in. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. How more cringy can it get? I mean, really, come on. It's fucking nonsense. But at the end of the day, they're together. And if they end up being a couple outside and they live together happily ever after in a cottage with Hansel and Gretel, then I tell you what, Dave, I'll eat my fucking hat. I'm telling you now, it's just purely for this show. Fucking bullshit from China.
Leave half of that hat for me because I'll eat it as well. I mean, last week we were joking about, weren't we? And I said, if me and you ended up in the villa with Margot Robbie and we explored a little scenario there, well, let's face it, I was just being a bit silly because that will never happen in a million years. What also won't happen in a million years is Mike leaving the villa if Jess got booted out.
Oh, no. Oh, I messaged you, didn't we? Because me and you were always talking when the show's on. And I sent you on, when Mike's going to leave the villa with Jess, and I went, fucking bullshit, because there's no... When he said it, I was like, oh, you cringy bastard.
You need fucking Carl Pilkington to fly into the villa, don't you? Just go, bullshit.
Honestly, my feet were watching it in bed and my feet were going. I was like, fuck off, you're like me, so I'm pissing out. And she went, is he fuck off? I'm telling you, he's not going to. And Jesse's there with the doe eyes. Oh, it's fine. Oh, so nice, that Mike. I'm thinking, fuck off. Give it another day when he's in Casa Amor. He'd be like, Jess, who? Jess, Tess, Beth?
It's fucking
nonsense. Absolutely. But I tell you, as just moving slightly on, that was very good, that Dave. Moving slightly on, though, I am telling you now, Dave, I can see there's a big fucking crack coming in, by the way, in Callum and Shauna's relationship. I'm telling you, something's happening here because apparently Shauna said something about not really kissing him and not putting it on each other and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, something not right here with this. I don't know whether Callum's playing her or not, or he's just not into it. But she is constantly sort of telling him what to do and everything. Innit? When he had a little joke with her about walking past if he wasn't going to kiss her, she's like, "You better. Oh, don't do that to me." Don't. I'm like, oh my God, come on, it's a game. He's joking. He's not going to do that to you. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something. I just don't see the relationship at all. And I don't know whether Callum's blagging her and the poor girl's going to get really, really upset and played, Dave. I'm not sure, but I just can't see it's a two-way street in this relationship. I don't know about what you think.
What do I think? Well, I see a female wearing the trousers and calling all the shots in the relationship.
My relationship, Dave.
And I see a blunt Mancunian who just sort of wants a quiet life, being told what to do. Yeah, I can't think of another relationship like that at all.
Sam, if you're listening, that was Dave.
Yeah,
you're right, Dave. Just move on. She's gonna walk in when she watches this because she listens to it because she's a few episodes behind and she's gonna chin me now, Dave.
It is rather uncanny when you say it out loud, though, isn't it? So, I don't know. I think well, for the reasons that I've just sort of hinted at, I think they could be strong, to be honest. It's hard to read Callum, though, isn't it? Because he says so little, and he just does want his quiet life. If someone made a massive play, could they turn him? I think. I don't know. I'd be 50-50. I'm not rock solid on it, but I'm not ruling it out either. I think Shauna, again, I'm not sure if Shauna did go in with a game plan, to couple up early. So I think because of that, she'd be smart enough, not to have her head turned. So I think, look, there's not that many couples where you go, right, they're really strong. They're going to be tested. I mean, that's probably one couple. Finn and Paige is probably another. Is that it? I mean,
Naz and Demi, maybe.
Naz and Demi. Actually, yeah, okay. But I mean, they seem still fairly new, so you wouldn't be that surprised, would you, if someone made a massive play for either of those two? what they have is that initial connection, but they haven't been together long enough. Is anyone going to be surprised if Luke T's head's turned?
Dave, is anyone going to be surprised if fucking Mike's head's turned? Let's be honest here. This is playing into Mike's hands, I'm telling you. He's going to come back with somebody else. I'll be absolutely amazed if he doesn't. The guy is a classic.
I'm not sure, because I think he's got a game plan as well. I don't think what he's doing is completely ignorant of the game, right? He coupled up early with Leanne. He could have had his chance with Jess. He decided to stick with Leanne instead of twisting with Jess. That didn't work out too well. And then we saw him rapidly scrambling to try and recouple before he got kicked out the villa. He's just stayed in by the skin of his teeth. He's put all of his cards down on the table. I didn't quite catch it, but I'm not sure if they've announced themselves as boyfriend and girlfriend tonight as well. Because Callum was saying it's like, oh, even we haven't done that. So he's basically said, he's going to leave the villa. All of his cards are right down there. So if he was completely oblivious to the game, yeah, he's fucking off in 0.1 second, right? But because of the game, and because I think he is playing games, I think he'll stay. Jess, on the other hand, I think she might be. I think she could be swayed.
We'll see, Dave. Yeah, it's a very good point. I'll tell you what I was surprised with, Dave, as well. Is obviously we got Sophie and Wallace getting voted off. Wallace actually spoke this episode at the start and actually said, do you want avocado? Which everyone pissed themselves laughing with the slapped arse that is Rebecca. I'm not feeling her at all. As much as I thought Sophie and Connor was very strange, and I thought she was playing Connor towards the end, and his reactions, she sort of knew what to do. This Rebecca, I'm not sure, Dave. I think Rebecca should have gone, to be honest. And I still don't get why, when couples are up, why doesn't the couple just go? Irrespective of a good or a bad one, it should just be the couple, because Mike didn't go for the simple reason they had the Jess thing. Nothing to do. I had a lot of rubbish, all this, the votes and that. It's absolute nonsense.
See, the various accusations that are thrown towards Love Island about, producers meddling with the outcome and stuff like that, I think their fingerprints are on this. Because for Mike to be so categorically voted in, to be kept in, I thought was a bit weird. But I can almost sort of think, all right, yeah, I can sort of see, if everyone looks at it the same way sort of Shauna does, that, well, Sophie's so-called she's found her person. She just wants to stick around for a nice holiday, and is taking up a space. Whereas Mike is still, God loves a trier, and by God, he was trying, wasn't he? So I think I can sort of half see it, but I was expecting Mike to go out of that couple. I was really surprised Rebecca got saved, because she doesn't seem to have a good relationship with the boys. She doesn't have a good relationship with the girls, and the whole avocado thing. She got a few pies for that, didn't she? And I just can't imagine anyone thinking, oh yeah, she's a good laugh. It just seems, well, they're all self-absorbed, but just, I don't know, a pretty unpleasant person, to be honest. So I would have thought Wallace would have got voted in. But think about it. Who causes, more drama in there? We had the whole thing of the fucking Spoongate tonight, didn't we? It's just nonsense, and I just can't really get worked up about that one. But Rebecca is going to cause more drama in there. And what people love about Love Island is the drama. So I can't help but feeling that was led.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, Dave. It's interesting because with Casa Amor on the horizon, and you're looking at the new couples, the new groups of people. There's 10 people there, 5 girls, 5 lads going in, totally varying sizes, shapes, personalities. It's going to be interesting. It always is. They always end up with a couple of them who you see once and we never see them again. They just totally phase them out because there's that many people knocking around. But I love the Casa Amor thing because it does test it for everyone. The only problem is Casa Amor ends up being sort of like the peak of the series sometimes. And then after that, and I think you hit the nail on the head because you never experienced this before, but the last week when you've got the loved up ones, he's fucking rubbish TV. And you get the fake dates and all this other bullshit where they're going in helicopters and that. That's what I'm saying about someone just gazumping in the final, whether it's a girl or a lad just saying, you know, I'm taking the money, or someone sweeping in at the last second, a bit like what Greg did, but on a more ruthless scale and just absolutely wiping the floor with a couple or something and splitting them up. Just something to give it something else. But it'll be interesting this week. And I think as well, just touching briefly, Dave, because I know we've got a few emails and that to read out and reviews, is the Shanice thing with Luke T. That was a argument, really. I mean, I didn't think Rebecca did anything. And then they're like, Rebecca stirring it. And it was actually Jess who turned around and went, well, he spooned Rebecca, didn't he? And it was actually Jess who'd shit stirred it. And I think that was because of what had happened when Luke had pied her and that. She was just acting quite childish. But everyone seemed to overlook that and just went straight for Rebecca, didn't they? And it was like, oh, Rebecca again. And I'm thinking, well, she didn't. As much as I don't like her, I didn't actually think she necessarily did anything wrong. She sort of tripped over herself and she said, well, he had his arm round me, and she sort of double backed on herself, but she didn't really have much else she could say, really.
Yeah, apart from Rebecca did snog Luke T.
I know, but that's not the point.
So the whole spooning thing, I'm guessing that wasn't, the whole spooning thing was an outcome, you know, from the discussion about this. I don't give a fuck about him, Chris. Luke T is going to have his head turned faster than fucking any bobblehead. He's gone. And if Shanice can't see that, she's just flattered that he made a play for her. So, you know, she needs to wake up. I think her head could be turned as well, to be honest, in Casa Amor. And I guess, you know, that my money's still on, though, Jess, because, I mean, looking through the old press pack for Love Island, see what I did there, Chris? The old press pack.
Yeah.
Right. There is a guy, a scaffolder called Ched.
Oh, he's fucking huge, isn't he?
And he's like Mike on steroids. Or should I say, he's like Mike
on steroids.
On more steroids.
Yeah. He's fucking massive, isn't he?
He is. And so he is absolutely Jess's type. And I think he's going to make a play for her. And I just don't think, after everything that's gone on, I just don't see Jess being that strong in holding up. But no, I mean, I was a bit disappointed. I thought it was going to be tonight when we got the old Casa Amor, and it's turned out they've prolonged it again for tomorrow, haven't they? So, but it is going to get tasty.
Oh, it's brilliant, Dave. And also, as I said, we've had another email from our good friend Kayla as well. And it just says, Rebecca and Jess can fuck off. I mean, you can't argue with that, Dave. Poor Luke M. Jesse's playing a game and I can't wait for Mike to play her. Luke M gave it to her straight. I predict Luke M and Mike will bring girls back from Casa Amor and Jess will be single. Rebecca's catchphrase is, that's not my problem. He sees nothing ever is. I don't know why they've picked her over Wallace. What are your predictions for who will have their head turned at Casa Amor? I'm still thinking Mike, Luke M, Luke T, Callum and Paige. And then she just messaged, as we're recording this, Dave, as well, and says, thanks for right. I'd written back to her just saying that I agreed with the people she'd chosen whose heads are going to be turned. And then she's just put this, the twist of the season will be if Nas actually coupled up with somebody in Casa Amor. So that he would be hated for that, Dave, I think. But yeah, quite interesting. So we've had a few reviews, haven't we, Dave?
Yeah, so I don't think Naz would. I think the way he's kind of loved and the way he is, that lovable rogue kind of thing, I think Naz would get away with it. I think if Demi's head was turned, then she'd be hated for that.
Yeah, true.
Just because the public's known Naz for a bit longer. They've warmed to him when he hasn't clicked with anyone. Seen him take barbs from Shanice, which she finally apologised for tonight, didn't she? So I think Naz would get away with it, but let's see. I mean, this is where all the chess pieces get scattered all over the table, aren't they? So it is good fun. But yeah, so we've had a couple of reviews, both from the US, Chris. So the first one is Addictive Podcast, and this is from El Melanie. It says, hey, from the US, absolutely loving listening to these guys dissect the dumpster fire that is Love Island. They're pretty spot on with my own thoughts as well. A great laugh. So thank you very much, Melanie. And the second one is Absolutely Love, and this is from Henry Buchanan. And this says, this podcast is delightful and just the thing for surviving the brutal DC weather, a depressing news cycle. Yep, it's certainly a depressing news cycle over here as well. Thank you, guys. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah. It is, Dave, and thanks again. And as we said last week, if you please get onto your podcast catching app and drop them reviews in. We're catching them, Dave. We're number 2 in the iTunes charts, right next to the official one. We just need quite a few more to tip it over the edge. So
I tell you what, if Mike could have turned that one around this week, then we can fucking turn this one around as well.
And if you know of anybody selling 35,000 reviews for next to nothing, then please get in contact with us. No, I'm joking.
Just steal your friends' phones, just subscribe them, leave a review. That's fine. They never know.
Yeah. And if you, like Kayla has, if you want to email in, the loveislandcast@gmail.com, and also give us a follow on Twitter, guys, and sending us some tweets over at Love Island Cast as well. So Dave, great episode again. I cannot wait for Casa Amor. So we'll see you tomorrow.